Up, we're live, pal.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Happy Easter. We hope you had a really great day. Hope you're able to see some family or at least talk or Zoom with some family, have some family time, and have some spiritual time, hopefully, some thoughtful time. And I'm Rachel, and Ryan is here.
Hey, Rachel, it's great to be with you as always, and we are doing this on Easter Sunday. So if you do celebrate, I hope you all had an incredibly pleasant Easter. I went to church this morning. It was great. We My church let in some new followers the night before. That's always nice to see. I got some new shoes from the Easter Bunny, some Vans, and I am so thankful for it because shoe shopping is just the worst for me. I wear size 14s, and it is just the dirt worst going shoe shopping. So whenever I can find something that fits me in a style that I like, it's like a winner is me. Like
Yeah.
that's a success for the day.
I'm like that with most clothes. I find the thing I like, and well, I'm like that with most things in my life. I where I if I go to I find a restaurant I like, I find the dish that I like, and that's just what I get every single time because I know I like it.
Yeah.
And almost every time I'm like, I'll try something else just to be more creative or whatever. I'm always like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted. But especially something like shoes, you absolutely need to have comfortable shoes. It's essential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the words
Uh,
of the Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want, but you might just find you get what you need.
yeah, that's right. I'm glad you got some good shoes. You're like Vans. So you
Oh
said
yeah,
Vans
I
shoes.
love them. I see. When I was younger, my dream job was to become a skateboarder because I would watch the X Games every year, and I remember into the 2007 X Games, there was this skater named Jake Brown. He's an Australian. He won the bronze that year, but just let me just provide a bit of context. The big event at the X Games is called Big Air, and the skaters they start out on a small ramp, they go down it, they jump across a big gap, they land on another ramp, and then there's this huge ramp that they jump and do a trick off of and land. It sounds simple, but it's also incredibly dangerous. And what happened to Mr. Brown was that first run went great, second run went perfect, and then the third run is where jumps across the gap perfectly, lands on the big ramp. He skates up, but then he kicks his board away and he just falls to the ground and just splats on the ground. It's like his shoes blow off. Like that's the type of impact. He turned out
Mm-hmm.
okay and he got a bronze medal for it, but it just, man, it was just, I was so traumatized. And then the next year, there was a skater named Danny Way who was in his mid 30s, which in skateboarding terms is like being 100. Like this was like among the last good years of his career. And he ended up winning Big Air after completely wrecking on his first run. And then on his second run, doing a perfect. And then his third run, doing an even better run than that. He beat out Bob Burnquist, who is like one of the greatest skaters of all time. Like next to Tony Hawk, he's a big deal. So anyway, I always wanted to become a skater, but gravity is not a good friend of mine. So it just never really panned out for me. But I've always loved wearing Vans because they're comfortable, they fit, and and they're very comfortable for me with my new job because I'm running everywhere, like post office,
Oh,
other places, and I don't need like tennis shoes, but I need something like in the middle, and Vans get that job done for me.
nice. Very good. Well, I'm glad you got a new purchase. I got a new purchase. Very exciting. I have a new chair, which you can see there. I don't know. There we go. With good upper and lower back support. And I've actually been using a folding chair for the last like 3 or 4 months because my chair broke. And I mean, I'd had it for years and years and years, and it still wasn't a very good chair. It was just an IKEA chair. And so I finally was like, you know what? I need to get a good chair. And I got this one from this place, eWin. And I actually used my friend Sean Chandler. I used his code in order to get 20% off. And he did a sponsorship with them, and I'll put a link in the description if people are interested, because that definitely helped save some money, is using his code. So anyway, I'm very excited about it.
He talks movies too much and is very generous. He talks movies too much and is very generous with his coupon codes.
Yeah, that's right. So very exciting. Well, we like to talk about in this sort of monthly wrap up that we do, not only what's been going on in our lives and what we want to talk about, but also what we've been watching. And I have a lot that I watched in March because not only was I doing all the podcasting that I'm doing, but I also went to the New York International Children's Film Festival, and I went to the South by Southwest. So there were 2 weeks of film festivaling in a row. So I covered a lot of films in that period. So it's been a very busy month for me, very busy time for me. But I know you had a new job, so it's a pretty busy time for you as well.
Yes, it is. It was a very busy but gratifying and fulfilling time all at once. I work at this place now where, to make a long story short, I essentially help the homeless with get back on their financial feet. I work for a place, it's called the Family Renew Community. We take in children and families who are homeless or about to be homeless, and we give them like temporary housing until they can find a better situation. We're not a homeless program. My boss is he's very on point about that. We are definitely not a housing program. What we do provide is housing for people so that they can get a new job or get out of a terrible domestic situation, because I actually witnessed a bit of not domestic violence, but like domestic disturbance, I guess. Nothing happened, thank the Lord, but it was just one of those things where it was just like you don't think you would witness something like that until it happens, and then you're just like, wow, I'm just happy that I can try and help them through all of this.
Yeah, that must be a very rewarding job. I'm really excited for you. I think it sounds like something very worthwhile.
Yeah, and I don't want to say the work is easy, like too easy. Like I don't want to be like that person, but I work with a lot of great people who are very encouraging towards me and say, hey, don't worry about it. Let's just get this done. It's like they don't get hung up about the politicking and crap stirring. They're all about helping people, and they're not overly concerned about their personal desires. They're concerned about helping others, and I love the spirit of that, and that's why I love working there.
I think that's great. I'm very proud of you. That's awesome. We got a comment, and we also have this super chat if people are feeling at all like supporting what we do. But
this is my best friend.
No way. Phil talks sports.
Yeah, this is my best friend.
No, that's so cool.
He says, shout out to you, Phil.
Excuse me. He says, I'm looking forward to seeing Godzilla vs. Kong in the theater. It'll be my first time back in a theater since Sonic the Hedgehog over a year ago. So
yeah, Phil is a Sonic super fan. Like he has Sonic tattooed right there.
No way.
If my memory is right, like right there. Yeah, Phil's actually getting married in July, and he invited me to his wedding. This is my first wedding that I've been invited to. So
congratulations, Phil. That's so exciting. Yeah, I did Phil, you'll have to tell us, did you like the Sonic movie or not? Or are you not a fan?
I have a feeling I know the answer to this question.
Did you like it, Ryan?
Yes, I did. Among the mountain of crap that is video game movies, there is one singular rose, and that was the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And considering all of the stuff surrounding it, like with the character design and just the whole internet going, are you having a laugh? Are they having a laugh? And then going to a movie that's actually pretty tolerable is just a miracle in and of itself.
Yeah, I know. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very sweet. Yes, it's very predictable, but I don't know. I had fun with it. I thought it was a sweet little friendship story, and I like those. So we got his answer here. He says, I went into it with low expectations, but I really enjoyed it. Looking forward to the sequel. Yay. Very good. I'm glad, Phil. That's great. Okay, well, let's dive into some of the stuff that we saw in March. Why don't you go first? Why don't you share a previously released film and then a new film that you saw in March?
Well, as far as previously released, well, it was a lot of stuff for the AFI project. I'll start off by talking about Unforgiven, which I watched for the first time, and I really dug it. I thought it was quite good. The stuff that I always heard about Unforgiven was that it turns Western tropes on its head and it's subversive. And I'm like, oh, great, it's one of these movies, huh? But it's Eastwood, so I thought it would be good. It was better than good. It was actually quite excellent. It is actually one of 3 Westerns to win Best Picture. Cimarron and Dances with Wolves are the other 2. So, and it is subversive in a way, but it's also in a way that is like, okay, I see where you're going there, and it's a perspective I can get behind. I'll have a whole review talking about it, but I didn't think that much of it, but now having seen it, I'm like, okay, I understand the hype now.
Cool.
And
yeah.
I also rewatched Tootsie from Sidney Pollack and starring Dustin Hoffman. Did not think I would like it as much as I did in high school, but it's actually still pretty good. And again, I'll have a review for that as well. But even though the whole stuff with Dustin Hoffman is what it is, he is one of the best parts of that movie, and he really, I think he really kind of steers into his own reputation a little bit, though I may not be sure about that. But the script is super tight. It's Sidney Pollack, so of course it is. And I think the movie has largely held up. I not rewatched, but I watched for the first time A Clockwork Orange, which, man, when that movie ended, I was like, what was that? But then the more I thought about it, the better it got. And like I said, that's going to be a very entertaining movie to talk about when I film it. And then I watched for the first time Saving Private Ryan, which was, that's a movie. I don't smoke, but I needed to take a smoke break after watching that movie because it was intense. For a while, I was like, why did Spielberg get nominated for this when, Raiders and Jaws and Close Encounters are all under his belt? Now, having seen it, I get it, and it's more than worthy of all the awards reputation that he got. And then I rewatched Shawshank. We all know what Shawshank is. That's excellent. And then I rewatched for the first time in a really long time Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which I actually like better this time than when I saw it the first time. I think it's actually quite underrated, especially for a movie with Robert Redford and Paul Newman, who are no slouches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some really good ones. A lot of movies I actually haven't seen. I haven't seen Unforgiven, and I haven't seen a couple of the other ones that you mentioned. So that's going to be fun. Tootsie, I haven't seen. I have seen Saving Private Ryan, and I think that it's really good, especially that first act. I think the later act isn't quite as good as that first act, but it's still overall definitely a good film.
Yeah, it's what can I say about the movie other than it's just intense. You gotta be mentally prepared for what you're about to go through.
Yeah, definitely.
And then as far as new releases go, well, Actually, I've got my new release roundup coming out tomorrow, actually. So I'll be talking about all the movies that I watched there. But just to give a brief rundown, I saw Raya and the Last Dragon, which actually Rachel and we talked about on our live stream at the beginning of the month for Disney Plus, the Hidden Gems Live. Then I also watched the Snyder Cut, which I actually thought was really good, and I do understand why people would dislike it. I can't remember which review I saw this from. I think it might have been Alonso Duralde, but this review compared the movie to Black Licorice, in that there are some people that are going to love it or think it's the worst thing ever created. I'm hashtag all licorice matters, so I actually quite enjoyed the movie. And I watched The Father, which, man, that was a tough movie to watch, but at the same time, I thought it was quite brilliant. It will probably get largely ignored at the Oscars, but I'm at least very happy that it got nominated, especially Anthony Hopkins, because something I noticed is that Anthony Hopkins has been in the MCU for quite a while, and so you forget that if you get him in these smaller movies, like, he's actually quite good at what he does in, like, Howard's End and other movies. I also watched The Courier with Benedict Cumberbatch, and that movie was starting out good, but then the third act gets better. I won't spoil it, but let's just say that it starts out good, but then it takes a hard left, but in a good way. And then I saw Nobody, which is one of the more fun experiences I've had in a theater all year. And then I saw Godzilla vs. Kong, which has been getting largely good reviews, and yeah, I'm one of them. I thought the human stuff was not very good, but it all makes up for the Godzilla vs. Kong fights are actually quite excellent, and they're very hard-hitting, and they show them in the daylight, so they're learning.
Yeah, a lot of really good stuff in there that some I've seen, some I haven't seen. But let's talk a little bit about the Snyder Cut. We haven't talked about that. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about it this week as well, since we're doing HBO Max.
Might as well get under the table right now.
What's that?
I'm ducking under the table.
So I actually gave the original Justice League a fresh score. And I gave this new Justice League a fresh score. So nobody save your tomatoes from me. Don't be mad at me. But so I think that I always try when I look at a movie to say, what is it trying to be? And is it successful in being that? That's one of my questions. And then I have to obviously ask, did I just genuinely enjoy it? And so those are sort of two questions. And we got a really great comment here, I have to say, from Kate Cash. She says, March wrap up time to do, because April is now here. Very fun. Thank Indeed. You so much.
Indeed.
But yeah, and so I thought that this did a great job at being what it was supposed to be. I said in my review that basically this movie was made for the fans who willed it into existence, and is exactly what they are looking for and that they're going to enjoy. So it's hard to fault it for doing exactly what it needs to do. And I said in my review, I said, when I watch a Hallmark Christmas movie, I'm not looking at it under the same lens as when I'm watching Nomadland. They have entirely different audiences and purposes. That doesn't mean I give the Hallmark movies a pass. There are many bad ones. I just asked the question, does this movie succeed at being a good Christmas movie? I asked the same question when reviewing horror movies. Does this film succeed in being scary, developing tone, having chilling sequences, etc.? It's the same thing with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Does this movie succeed in what it's trying to do? Is it a satisfying event for fans who willed it into existence? The answer is undeniably yes. If the answer is yes, and I didn't mind watching it, then it succeeds. And they said that may be a convoluted explanation, but there it is. So I gave it a 6 out of 10. I do think that watching the movie, it made me realize that I am way Team Superman and Team Wonder Woman, and not way the other people. I think that they're way more interesting because they have all this power, and then they have to decide how they're going to use it, and that's more interesting to me than rich guy with toys. And and this movie did Wonder Woman and Superman pretty good. It had fun sequences with both of them. I didn't think I was going to like Black Superman, the black suits. I didn't think I was going to like the black suit Superman. And I actually enjoyed it. And I thought it was done well. And I think this is probably the best Henry Cavill has gotten to actually play Superman as a character. Because even if you like Man of Steel, which I don't, he doesn't really get to be Superman for very much of that movie. It's his origin story about how he becomes Superman.
I think Man of Steel is an imperfect masterpiece. But I will agree with you that he really doesn't become Superman until the big fight that he has with Zod in the ruins of Metropolis. I will agree with you there. But having read your quote, I'll meet your quote with a quote from Matt Zoller Seitz from his review. It will mainly please the people who clamored for it. Even fans of the genre might consider it a bit much. It owes as much to rock concerts, video games, and multimedia installations as it does to commercial narrative filmmaking. It's maddening, it's monumental, it's art. And I think that pretty much sums up my thoughts on the whole thing as well. It's definitely not for everyone, and I think it will please the people who were so desperate to see it. I treated it like the Loch Ness Monster, in that if it exists, I'll happily see it, but I'm not holding my breath for it. And I just kind of gave the side eye to people who were like, the Snyder Cut, I saw it with my own eyes. Like, Zach tweeted about it. That totally means it's true. And
you only needed $70 million.
And I'll be the first to admit, I was just like, in the words of Ron White, the next time you have a thought, let it go. But now it's actually out. And so shut my mouth, I guess.
Yeah. I had a similar thought that Matt had. I said, I'm not even sure it is a film. It's not a limited series either. It's best described as an event, like something you watch in an amusement park, only 4 hours long. Writing a review of this event then becomes difficult. How do you judge its quality when it's such a unique beast? And I said, honestly, my main response after 4 hours is it's fine. I like most everything with Wonder Woman. Aquaman sections were bland. The action felt very video game inspired, which doesn't move or excite me. The Superman parts I enjoyed, even with the black suit, which I didn't think I would like. It was nice seeing Ben Affleck healthy again in this world, so I liked most of the Batman stuff. Flash felt extemporaneous, but fine. Cyborg had been oversold to me, and I didn't think it was anything special. Plus, Ray Fisher has no charisma as an actor. So that's my hot take, I guess. I didn't think he was anything special. But yeah, I mean, the whole aesthetic is not my favorite. The very video game kind of inspired, very... I don't know, just lots of red and orange. Zack Snyder loves orange in his aesthetic. I mean, the whole last like 10 minutes.
That's the most orange movie of all time.
You know, it was so interesting.
I love 300, but it's still like, it's just like, wow, this is like sepia tone on steroids. Steroid tone, if you will.
What was interesting, I used to work in web design and marketing, and I was designing some flyers, and I started to notice that my boss, this was years and years ago, that he would always want this kind of school bus color of orange and blue in most of these designs. And I was just going, what? And so I did, but then, like most of us, the girls in the office were kind of like, what is this color? Why does he like it so much? And so I did a test where I did a flyer with this school bus orange or yellow, however it's that middle color, and then in blue. And then I did a one with like purple and pink, and then went around the office and said, which one do you like? And it was uncanny. All of the guys in the office all liked the orange and blue. All of them. Nobody went for and all the girls liked the purple.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is this very small sample size, but I was just like, what is it with guys in this weird color of yellow, orange? I don't know. But anyway,
orange.
And so I think Zack Snyder's in that club of really liking orange. He has a lot. I mean, that whole last 10 minutes, the whole apocalypse, that was all orange. Anyway, so Kate says, I don't care enough about the DCU to sit through the Snyder Cut, but I'm glad that for most people, it was what they were hoping it would be. That's wonderful. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good being a good sport about it. And yeah. I get that there's going to be a lot of people who are ambivalent towards this, and that's cool. But to like the people who are actively like trying to hate on it or hating others who are like legitimately enjoying it, like, what are you doing with your life? Like, seriously, these people are not bothering you. They just want to see a good version of something that was released in 2017, because it took the Snyder Cut to finally make me recognize just how bad the Whedon cut actually was, because it was just essentially Whedon and Snyder like butting heads for 2 hours. And then the Snyder Cut was all Snyder. And I prefer a long version of one guy's vision than like 2 hours of be like, hey, put my parts in there. No, I got to have some of me in there. It's like two people trying to get their crap in, to use as wrestling speak. And it's very noticeable.
As somebody who liked both, I will say there was a lot of stuff in the Snyder Cut that I thought was Whedon. I was surprised how much of the quippiness was in this one. And I guess I'm kind of a sucker for team up movies. I just like team up movies, probably better than solo movies. And I mean, I liked all of the Avenger movies. I liked both Justice League movies. I love X-Men Days of Future Past. I'm just a fan of team up movies for the most part. So I think I'm pretty forgiving of that. But I was surprised how much of things that I thought, oh, that's probably a Whedon choice, actually turned out not to be. So that was interesting, I thought. Anyway, we have one more question from Kate. She says, I still don't get why it's in 4:3 aspect ratio. That still seems weird. Was there a reason given? And I think the reason, well, they say at the beginning it's part of Zack Snyder's vision. So take that for what you will. But I think it's because that's how IMAX is shot. Am I right? And he shot the movie in IMAX.
If my memory serves me right, hang on. Let me see if I can find something. Let me see if I can find something on the Wikipedia here.
Okay. And I'll see. We have one more comment here. This is Aaron Johnson. He says, on Durbin's channel, I made a rather interesting comment that the re-edit of Justice League seems to be similar to a Rambo film. Batman and his buddies had issues with their enemies. I mean, that's most superhero movies. Is team up with the enemy.
The cut was released in an open matte 1.33 by 1 aspect ratio alongside IMAX 1.43 by 1.
Yeah. So it's the IMAX that's in 4:3, and that's why that's like his vision. So what are you going to do? But I do have to say, and for the most part, people were pretty respectful, it seems like, but if it's one thing to say, don't yuck on my yum, but if a critic is legitimately just doing their job and they don't have to like it, then just leave them alone.
Yeah.
It's still got a good enough Rotten Tomatoes score. It still did well. You can still enjoy it, even if some critics did or didn't like it. And they're just doing their job. And that's all that you can ask for a critic. So just leave them alone. And also, don't bomb Godzilla's scores just because you're mad at WB.
Just when you think we're out of the quagmire, it drags us back down under.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
mean,
creature from the Black Lagoon.
yeah, be grateful for what you got for like 2 seconds before you immediately start on your new campaign, please.
Exactly.
But anyway, so that's the Snyder Cut. Let's move on and talk about some other stuff. So, as I said, I was able to attend 2 film festivals, and I saw at the New York International Children's Film Festival, I saw 4 films, I think 5 films at the festival. And my favorite was one called Nahuel and the Magic Book. And I did a review of that on here on this channel for Family Movie Night. I really loved the animation. If you're a fan of like Steven Universe or some of those kinds of shows, even Hilda, it has a little bit of that same feel, which of course I adore Hilda. And it's just about this little boy who he finds this magic book, and his father's a fisherman, but he is afraid of the water. And his father goes missing, and he finds this magic book, and it starts him on this journey and how he can overcome his fears in this magic book. It was really neat, and I really enjoyed it. And so keep an eye out for that. I don't know when it's coming to American screens, but keep an eye out for it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it maybe in the fall. Maybe something from G Kids, possibly. I think that I think people will really enjoy it. It was very beautifully animated and a nice, fun story.
Any Cookie Cat ice cream sandwiches?
What sandwich?
Cookie Cat? It's a Steven Universe reference.
Oh, sorry. Oh, right. No, sadly, no. Yes, and so then I also saw the Bears Secret Invasion, and this is a series of beautifully animated shorts that are all anthropomorphic bears, where they have like this whole society and they go to battle and different things. And that was very good. I saw a movie called Beans, which I did not care for, and it should not have been at a children's film festival. The language was not appropriate at all. I found it kind of shocking. So I wouldn't recommend that one. It was about it.
More like a PG-13 kind of.
Oh, it was definitely would be rated R. It had the F word multiple times.
Oh,
yeah.
What's that doing at a?
I don't know.
Are any of these vetted? Like, what are they doing?
I have no idea. It was bizarre. It's about this young girl in the 1970s in Canada, where there was this standoff between the Native Canadians, I guess, the police, and there was this whole barricade, and it was pretty violent, and it was also had really foul language. And they did give a warning at the beginning, but it did not belong at a children's film festival, in my opinion. And I just overall didn't enjoy it. I didn't think it was very interesting or very well done, so I didn't like that one.
Yes, that's what children want to see, a Canadian version of Rambo.
Yeah, it was weird. And then I also, I saw a movie called Curtain Up. And this was very cute. This is a movie about a group of young elementary kids, school kids that are in Chinatown, and they put on a version of Frozen Junior. And so it's all these Chinese kids putting on Frozen, and it was extremely cute. I mean, I love theater, and I have such fond memories of doing plays and things like that. So if that's something so I think you would like it, because I know you've done some theater too. It was very cute.
I could do an entire show talking about my theater experiences, but that'll be for another time.
Yeah, we should do that someday. That would be fun.
But I've got stories for days. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the stuff that should be left in high school. But that'll be for when we talk about that.
Yeah. Then the last movie at the festival is a movie called The Legend of Hay. and this is from China. It is beautifully animated. It's about this world where there's all these demons, and this kid is a demon hunter, and it was kind of confusing, I have to admit, but I still overall enjoyed it. The animation was gorgeous, and it had great music. It was, I think, something, if I watched it maybe one more time to be able to pick up on everything, would be worth it. It won a bunch of awards at the festival, so it was kind of the favorite. But my favorite was Noelle.
Maybe they'll explain things in the sequel, The Legend of Hello.
Right. Legend of Goodbye. Okay, so then for South by Southwest, I will not tell you every single thing I saw, because I saw like 20 something movies. But my favorites of the festival, South by Southwest, my favorite of all was this movie called Recovery, which is a comedy. Have you ever heard of Studio C on YouTube?
No, I don't think so.
They do like sketches that are family friendly, but are very funny, in my opinion, very funny. And two of the actresses from Studio C are the leads in this movie. And one of them, she wrote and directed it. And it's a very simple movie. It's about these two sisters that decide they have to drive from New Mexico all the way up to Portland. They're going to rescue their grandma, who is in this COVID-infested nursing home. And so it's this road trip on the way to get their grandma. And it's really funny. I laughed throughout. I mean, just you kind of wonder, can people make this kind of thing funny? But they did, and they did a good job. And I don't know. It just had been a long time since I'd laughed that hard at a movie. And so keep an eye out for it when it comes. I'm sure it'll go to one of the streaming because it was just really funny, and they made it on like a nothing budget. But yeah. So that was really good. And then I also really was moved by a documentary called Introducing Selma. That's about Selma Blair, the actress, and her battle with MS. I thought that was very well done. There were a bunch of celebrity biodocs, but that one was, I thought, the best one. And then finally, my other favorite was called Alien on Stage. And this is a documentary about these two bus drivers in England who...
Wait, hold on. Selma Blair was Liz Sherman in Hellboy. Like,
yes.
She has
MS. No, that's ALS. MS is multiple sclerosis.
Why am I just knowing about this now? Because she was awesome in those movies.
Yeah, and it's pretty devastating. I mean, she goes through these stem cell treatments, and there's points she can't even move, she can't talk. It's not really about her celebrity at all. It's just about her, and so it's going to be on the Discovery. So maybe if we do another Discovery Plus episode, we can talk about it once it's on there.
Yeah, that's so sad, because I loved Selma Blair in the Hellboy movies, and she's gotten a lot of good work. She was in the DuckTales reboot as Witch Hazel. Mm-hmm. She's in a bunch of other movies. So I was today years old when I learned that she had MS, which, I mean, that's horrible that happens.
Yeah, and she was in Legally Blonde, which is, hilarious. And we got a comment here. Sounds like an interesting comedy. I know some people don't want COVID times integrated into media, but it's going for so long and has been such a part of our lives. I don't know how you can. I agree. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think you can make anything funny as long as it's in the right context. In the words of Eric Bischoff, context is king. So if you can make something funny in the right parameters, then I say go for it.
Yeah, I mean, if Mel Brooks can make Springtime for Hitler funny, then anything can be made funny.
Mel Brooks pretty much made fun of every race, every religion, and pretty much every human being alive, like in his prime, like Blazing Saddles, like History of the World Part One, Spaceballs, Robin Hood, but he still is a legend because he framed it all in the context of this making fun of everybody equally and wholeheartedly. That's why he's a legend.
Like, just as an example of one of the jokes in Recovery, like, so they have to stop for gas, and so she puts on, because she doesn't want to touch the gas pump because she's afraid that it has COVID, and so she puts she puts like sandwich baggies over her hands, and she's like, and I mean, just it's totally over the top and funny, but we were all there doing that, so that's what makes it funny, and it's that kind of jokes throughout, and they have great chemistry. You can tell the two of them have worked together for, many years doing comedy. And so I think that helps too.
Yeah. And I'll reiterate again, it doesn't matter the subject material as long as you have it in the right context and you're not actively trying to hurt somebody. That again, I say go for it.
Yeah. Just agreed. Well put, guys. Also a huge Mel Brooks fan.
Who isn't other than bunch of PC people, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not I love my favorite is probably Young Frankenstein. I just for the ones, I mean, I think it's hilarious. Madeline Kahn is a treasure and is so funny. But I love so much the scene where Gene Hackman is the blind man serving the soup.
Oh,
and, that's the best.
The putting on the Ritz scene gets me every time.
Yeah.
Like, where do you go? Where fashion sits? Dun dun.
But my last favorite was Alien on Stage, and it's about these two bus drivers that get their friends to all put on. Like every year they do this play for charity, and usually it's something like Robin Hood. They did one year, something like that, family friendly. Well, one year they decide to actually put on a version of Ridley Scott's Alien, and so they go on to their friends to write it, and they make all the costumes, everything's DIY, and even the making the alien and everything. And at first it seems like, oh, it's not going to be a success. They're not going to be able to support the charity. And then somebody from West End London finds out about it, and they actually get picked up for a theater in London. So they all get to go from wherever they are, I can't remember, but they go to London and put on their play, and everybody loves it and cheers for them. And it was a huge success. Now they've done it like multiple years in a row at that same theater. And it was for my theater starved heart, it did me good. It was so fun. I mean, I think that's one of the great things about theater is the experience of all doing it together, making it work, I remember in high school, on Saturdays, painting the backdrops and working on costumes and coming up with creative solutions for things because you don't have much budget or any budget. And that's part of the fun of it. And it really captured that feeling of using tubing and different kinds of creative things to make the alien look pretty darn good. And seeing them all work together, it was really heartwarming, very fun. So yeah, keep an eye out for that too.
Yeah, when I heard about this Alien, how does that work? Because there are some movies that just work in just the medium of movies. Like you could try in like other places. Like remember they tried to make Spider-Man into a musical. They tried.
Right.
I actually saw it, and it wasn't good.
Oh, you did? You saw it?
Yeah. No one fell off their wires this time. Oh, thank God.
I wish I could have seen it just to see it because it's such a spectacle.
Yeah, it's one of I was like deeply entrenched into my theater kid like phase, I want to say. So when I heard about this, because it combined many things that I loved, Bono and the Edge from U2, Spider-Man, and musicals. Like, this should have been the greatest thing ever. But, you just
Yeah.
hear about all the mishaps, and just pretty much the entirety of like the 2009 Tony Awards was just Neil Patrick Harris dropping "Turn Off the Dark" jokes every now and
Mhm.
again. The one
But
that
I
I
still
always,
wish I had seen it because I'm just so curious.
the one that I always remember was when Harris was like, "I wanted to give this special award to Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark, but the cable broke on the way over here."
Yeah, right. Oh, we got a comment. What's your favorite moment in Nahuel in New York International Children's Film Festival? I think anytime that there's the villain, that he kind of comes with this sort of like swirling black tornado kind of birds. And every time that happened, it was really scary and I thought very effective in the way it was sort of animated and the birds. And I have a fear of birds. And so I thought that was very effectively done, the way they did the villain with the birds. And the villain, he even kind of looks like a bird, the way his nose and his face and everything is that was very good. So that's my favorite. Okay, so some other things that I saw. There's also a really fun documentary called Lily Topples the World, which is all about this girl. I guess she has a she has a YouTube channel called Havesh5, I think is what it's called. And she does domino toppling. That's her thing and her art and everything. And it was pretty cool. She seems very sweet, and it was probably a little long for a feature. Probably would have been better as a short, but nevertheless, that was pretty cool. So that's what I saw at the festivals. As far as other stuff that I watched, I also watched the nominated shorts. I just did that yesterday, actually. And I would say that of the animated ones, my favorite was probably Burrow. And then of live action, my favorite is called The Present. And then for the documentary, it is very close. They were all very good, the documentary shorts, and they were all very different. But my favorite is probably one called Hunger Ward. That was very moving, and it really felt authentic. It didn't feel like you were being manipulated by the director. It felt like they were literally following these women who run this hunger ward and trying to help these. I forget where it's located, but anyway, that was very well done. But I think the one that's going to win on documentary is called Latasha. Remembering Latasha or something like that. And that was also very good about this, them remembering their friend who died in a racially motivated violence that in the 90s, and thinking about what she could have become and remembering. It was very sweet. They really were all good. All of the documentary shorts I thought were excellent. The animated ones, the Burrow was very good. Of course, it's Pixar, so it's going to be very good. There's one, I forget what it's called, but I guess maybe I should look up. But there's one that I think will win that's very socially conscious about a school shooting. That's obviously very upsetting. But I think that one will win, but I don't know. I prefer the Burrow. Let's see here. Did they have? Yeah, there were ones that I was surprised didn't make it, but I was surprised that Out from Pixar didn't make it because that kind of had a big splash. But
did Us Again get nominated, or
I think that will be next year. If it doesn't get nominated, I'll be very upset because
that might have missed the window.
But I hope it'll get nominated next year. I hope, because it was great. There was one called Opera, which I didn't really get. I mean, it was cool looking. It's sort of this miniature world and following and going back and back, and you see it, and it's kind of like oh, I don't know, just and you see these little, almost like ants, these little people, and it comes back further and further, and you see all the mechanisms all coming together and everything, and it looked cool, but it didn't have any story, so it wasn't my favorite. And then one called Yes People. That was pretty fun. And just about a bunch of different people. And then, yeah, the live action, I think there's one called Two Distant Strangers that I think will win, because it's about this Black man, young man, who gets in this time loop, and every day he's killed by this police officer, no matter what he does in the time loop. And it was good. It was very compelling, but I just liked The Present better. They were all good, except for one called The Letter Room, which I just didn't get. I feel like the only reason it got nominated was because of Oscar Isaac was in it, and he's good. But I just didn't think the story was... I feel like the only reason it got nominated was because he's in it, not because it was a good short. But The Present I really liked. So anyway, that's the shorts. And so, yeah, so seeing some other things. I saw Godzilla vs. Kong. I went back to the theater. That was fun with my friend Jen. So I missed that. I saw a lot of movies for my 2000 animated Oscar video, which I worked really hard on. And I watched the Magic Pudding movie from Australia, which was bonkers.
The Magic Pudding movie.
Yes.
Okay.
The Magic Pudding. And then I also watched this movie called The Scarecrow. This is why I like doing projects like that, because it forces you to watch weird stuff you never would. And it is such a blatant bad copy of Beauty and the Beast. And there were so many of those in the 90s, but there's even lots of points where she's wearing a yellow dress. There's just so many things that feel like exactly like it. And it wasn't some ripoff, though. It was made by Warner Brothers. It has the director, has Richard Rich, who made Swan Princess, which I guess you could see as another kind of copy. But yeah, you have what's it called? Quest for Camelot. You have Swan Princess. You have Anastasia. You have The Scarecrow. And The Scarecrow, I am now the first critic to review it on Rotten Tomatoes. It has 0 reviews.
Oh, wow.
So that was interesting. And I finally watched Titan AE, which I was hoping I would think it was this hidden gem.
Yeah, that movie's hard work, and it combines many things that I love. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, animation, directed by Don Bluth. This should have been a treasure, but it was not.
No, it was not. So I think that basically covers it. I watched The Prince of Egypt, which I adore, for our discussion.
Yeah, and a couple brief asides. I want to say thank you to everyone who did check that out. That was it's one of my favorite videos I've done of the year so far. I mean, I knew Rachel would be down for everything, but getting Durbin was just... I was on clouds 9 through 15 when he said, yeah, I should be able to do it. I'm like, thank you, God. You're listening to me for once. And it was so great.
It was so much fun to be a part of. I really enjoyed it. And we have a comment. I still need to finish your Oscars 2000 video, but what I saw was so nostalgic. There were some wonderful childhood movie experiences I had with those films, especially Pokemon 2000. And so, yes, thank you so much. I worked really hard on that video. So, most of the time I'm like, whatever. If it doesn't get a lot of views, it's fine. It's all part of my learning experience as a critic. But every once in a while, I really work hard. And I'm like, please watch it, please. That was one of them. I worked really hard on that video. So
I don't know where else to put this, but I just looked at my phone to check on my new release roundup for tomorrow, which finally uploaded, and I'm at 135. I don't know if you all can
ah,
see it, but
way to go.
there I
You should have
am.
so many more.
135, 15
Great.
away from 150.
All right. Well, that's very great. Congratulations. I am so close to getting to my 3K. I've been at I've had 10, need 10 for so long. So if anybody knows anybody who can subscribe,
It's
please
just
do.
10. Come on, guys. Let's get Rachel
10.
over the finish line.
Oh my gosh.
She should have
So
1 million subscribers and making Jake Paul money, but she'll cross that bridge when she gets there.
okay, so we have some BuzzFeed quizzes we're going to end on because I know this is already going super long. But so we have first one is which Marvel character are you? So we're going to try to come up with a combined appropriate answer that we both agree on.
Okay.
So what motivates you? Not that much. I want justice. I want revenge. I seek adventure. Petty jealousy mostly. I want to be better than everyone. I am Groot. A sense of duty, and I don't want to be alone. What's your first response?
I seek adventure.
Okay, I seek adventure. I would say either that or I don't want to be alone, but I'll go with I seek adventure. Okay, next question. What is the most attractive quality? Sarcastic wit? Really, really, really smart? Dark intensity? Strong moral compass? Really, really, really rich? Being able to keep a secret? Wicked charm? Really, really ripped? And having a cool dog.
Moral compass.
Okay, good. Okay, choose a side dish. We have French fries, asparagus. We have macaroni cheese, rolls with butter, potatoes with butter and herbs. We have bread, beans, and rice. We have salad. We have fried rice, spaghetti, and mashed potatoes with gravy.
Ooh.
I think I would go with spaghetti.
Do we have to be a consensus on this, or can we do different answers?
Well, since we only can enter one,
okay.
What would be your pick?
I was going to go with the fries, honestly.
With fries, I do love a good French fry, and they do have McDonald's, so I'll go. I'll go with that one. Okay, so you suspect someone close to you has betrayed you. What do you do? Find a way to prove they did it. Kill them before they do anything. Have words with them over drinks. Trick them into confessing. Smash them. Find a way to use this to your advantage. Give them the benefit of the doubt and confront them about this terrible rumor, or I am Groot.
That first one.
Find a way to prove they did it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. How would your closest friends describe you? Very, very moody, arrogant, but with good reason. Kind of messed up, but still a good person. Too clever for my own good. Solid, loyal, reliable. Sweet and old-fashioned. Unhinged, but also pretty cool. Not 100% a dick. So sexy that it's kind of crazy. So I think you say solid, loyal, reliable.
I was going to say kind of messed up, but still a good person, but we can go with yours.
Okay.
Or
okay, pick a Pokemon. Oh, I don't know all of these. Shoot. There's the pink one. There's the little turtle. There's the. Maybe I should share the screen. Here, I'll share. Do you see?
Yep.
I don't know their names.
You want Charizard, the orange dragon.
This one?
No. Up one. There.
This one?
That one.
Okay. I guess I should just leave it and you can read it. So, okay. So if you could rid the world of one of these things, what would it be? Douchebags, dumbasses, dickhead, drinks, dweebs, fools, a-holes, jerks, and I'm Groot. Who would get rid of Groot? Outrageous.
Man.
I think you got to go with jerks.
I mean, what's the difference between that and a-holes?
I don't really know, but I think it's worse.
It's like a derivative of the same thing, isn't it?
I think jerks. Ah, we got Thor. Yes.
All right.
You're kind, noble, and brave, but also just an all-around cool bro. You also very loyal to your family and friends and are always down for a good party. So I feel like that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll just do one more. Which one would you rather do? I have which Star Wars character are you, or which Disney princess are you?
Star Wars. Let's do that.
Okay. All right.
Pick a Bond film.
Yeah. So we'll just let you do this one. So pick a Bond film. Which one would you pick?
Goldfinger. Bottom
All
left.
right. Social Network.
MySpace is on here. See, kids, back in the mystical land of the early 2000s, there was once a social network called MySpace, and you could customize your page and talk about music.
Maybe if you do this one, you get like Obi-Wan or something like that if you do MySpace. So which one is your favorite?
I use Twitter a lot, but I like Instagram because you can actually have more words, and I've actually read some quite insightful things on Instagram, unironically. So let's go there.
Okay. So what was your favorite subject?
There's no history on there. Ugh. Because history was my favorite.
I like history a lot too. Philosophy, I feel like that's kind of similar.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, so pick a color.
Well, blue's my favorite, so let's go with that.
Okay. So we pick a Beatles song. I don't know what that has to do with Star Wars.
I'm sure we'll see at the end. I have never heard of Octopus's Garden, so...
Octopus's Garden? It's one of the Ringo songs.
I'm not surprised.
I want to be under the sea in an octopus's garden. These are all really good songs.
I don't know how much heat this might get me, but I think I'm going to choose I Saw Her Standing There because that's actually a pretty underrated song. It's got a really good beat, and given out of all those choices, I would go to that one first.
Cool. Okay, what is your ideal first date? Ooh.
Is putting out what I think it means?
I think it is. Yeah. So don't choose that one.
Yeah, no.
Going for a picnic in a field by waterfall. Nice walk.
Shooting womp rats in your teeth.
Foreign language film. Definitely not stand-up comedy.
Yeah, because depending on the comedian, that might go south. I'm leaning towards museum.
Oh, here. Okay, cool. Okay, pick a Breaking Bad character.
Oh man, these are all good choices. Gonna have to go with my favorite, Jesse.
Yoda! That's your Star Wars character. Wise you are, annoying though also you can be.
Okay, I can see that.
Outrageous. So, I think I stopped sharing my screen. Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
We had a comment a while back. Mel Brooks is a great director and actor. He has lots of credits in various movies, Spaceballs, Robin Hood, and in Tights, etc. His comedies are rewatchable. Agree there.
Insanely rewatchable.
That's right. So that was fun. I enjoyed doing those. But let us know what you saw in March that you enjoyed. Maybe it's something that we haven't gotten a chance to talk about at all on either of our channels. We always are up for a good recommendation. There's so much content out there that nobody can watch everything. So it's good to know what you all are watching and you all enjoying. So please tell us. And Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called Ryan Cam. Hit 135 while we were doing this. So thank you to you all who have checked me out and subscribed. I am so happy with where the channel's going, and it's just going to get bigger from there. Tomorrow, the new release roundup for March is going to go live at about noonish Eastern time. I'm going to be talking about Snyder Cut, Godzilla, Nobody, Courier, and a couple of others. I'm going to talk about all the movies I saw in March in that video. And also, please do check out our big podcast that I did with Rachel and Durbin on The Prince of Egypt. It's a labor of love, and it's one of my favorite videos that I've done, period. I've got another collab in the works. Let's just say that the chicken is in the marinade, isn't about to be put in the oven. That's all I'll say right now. But moves are in the making, and it involves my I Finally Watched series. And this coming week, after the new release roundup, I'm gonna be releasing a video, a long overdue video on WandaVision and my thoughts on there. And then this coming Sunday, I'll be releasing a big retrospective on the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. So a lot of content coming to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and like I said, I'm very happy with where it's going and where it's going to go.
Yeah, y'all definitely need to check it out, and make sure you're following me and Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please take a look at that. You can find all of my coverage and all of my reviews from all the film festivals that I've attended this year, including Sundance, South by Southwest, New York International Children's Film Festival. And also make sure that you check out the Hallmarkies podcast. We have a lot of fun over there, interviews and recaps and other fun stuff. And then also, it was pretty exciting for the Francast, which is this other little weekly show that I do with some of my friends where we're recapping The Nanny. We actually got to interview Fran Drescher, which was pretty epic and pretty fun. So that was exciting. So take a look at all of that. And I always appreciate comments and support. And this week, I've coming up, I have my review of Springtime with Rue on tomorrow. And then I have my April Female Film Critics panel on Wednesday with Gray Drake from Rotten Tomatoes, which was pretty exciting. And then my friend Caitlin Booth, who is a local critic here in Utah. So the two of them. And that was pretty exciting to get to talk to both of them. So you'll have to look forward to that. And then we are going to do Hidden Gems and HBO Max on Friday. And we haven't decided what we're doing for best and worst, but it'll be fun. So take a look at that. And thanks so much. This was a lot of fun. Happy Easter to all of you. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye everyone.